the alien encounter. "Don't look up." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I froze, every muscle in my body locking in place, my heart hammering in my chest. But it wasn't just the words. It was the tone. The sheer terror in my friend Jason's voice that sent my blood running cold. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I couldn't. It was dark. Too dark. The trees around us had become nothing more than shapes, shadows that towered in the pitch-black night. Our flashlights flickered weakly, cutting through the dark like fragile blades against an overwhelming force. And then there was the sound. A low hum, distant yet close at the same time, vibrating in the air. It felt like it was inside my bones, rattling them from the inside out. It was unnatural, the kind of hum you'd hear when a machine was malfunctioning. But this was different. It was alive. The night seemed to stretch on forever. My eyes remained glued to the forest floor, refusing to look up, though every instinct told me to run, to get away from whatever was out there. But Jason's voice echoed in my head, the command so urgent, so filled with fear, that I couldn't bring myself to do anything except obey. "Don't. Look. Up." The silence was suffocating. We stood there, not daring to move, not daring to breathe too loudly. My mind screamed at me to run, but the forest around us seemed to pulse, like it was alive, listening, watching, waiting. It had started innocently enough. The camping trip. Me, Jason, and two of our friends, Rachel and Mike, had been looking for a break from the chaos of our lives. We had chosen a spot far from the beaten path, the kind of remote place that would let us escape into nature. No phone signal, no distractions, just us and the wilderness. But everything changed when the sky turned black. It wasn't supposed to be like this. The night had been clear when we first set up camp, the stars stretching above us like a blanket of tiny, shimmering diamonds. We made a fire, told stories, joked around, and let the warmth of the flames settle in our bones. Then came the lights. At first, it was just a flash, a quick streak of white that crossed the sky. Rachel had been the first to notice, her voice curious as she pointed up. "Did you guys see that?" We all turned to look, and for a moment, the night felt normal again, until the second flash came, this time followed by a low rumble, almost like thunder, though there were no clouds in sight. It happened again, and this time, the lights weren't flashes. They lingered, moving slowly across the sky, shifting and changing direction in ways that no aircraft, no meteor, could ever move. That's when Jason started acting strange. His face went pale, his eyes wide. He stood up abruptly, knocking over his chair, and muttered something under his breath, too low for us to hear. "Jason, you okay?" Mike asked, concern creeping into his voice. Jason didn't respond. Instead, he grabbed his backpack and started frantically shoving things into it. "We need to leave. Now." At first, we thought he was joking. But when he stood there, staring at the sky with a mix of fear and urgency, we knew something was wrong. We tried to convince him it was just a weather anomaly, a strange but explainable phenomenon. But Jason wouldn't listen. "Don't you get it? They're here," he said, his voice low, shaking. "We have to go." We laughed it off at first. We thought it was just panic, just a moment of irrational fear. But Jason's face stayed rigid, his eyes darting around as though he could see something we couldn't. "I don't know what it is," he muttered, "but it's not natural." Rachel and Mike tried to talk him down, but the fear in Jason's eyes was something none of us could ignore. Then came the noise. A sudden, high-pitched whine, louder than anything we'd ever heard. It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. The ground seemed to vibrate beneath us, the air itself growing thick and heavy with pressure. And the lights, they moved closer. "We need to leave. Now," Jason repeated, grabbing my arm, pulling me toward the trail. "Don't look up. Whatever you do, don't look up." We ran. We ran through the trees, the hum of the strange craft growing louder with every passing second. My heart pounded in my chest as my feet carried me over rocks, through brush. Anything to get away from the source of that awful pulsing sound. And then, the ground beneath us rumbled. The trees above us creaked and groaned, their branches shifting, as if the forest itself was moving, rearranging, trying to keep us in place. That was when we heard it. The unmistakable sound of footsteps. Heavy, deliberate, coming from behind us. I dared a glance back. It was the worst mistake I could have made. The trees around us were alive, their branches bending and twisting in unnatural angles. But it wasn't just the trees. It was something in the air, something that felt alien. Something was coming. It wasn't just the hum, it was something worse. And there, emerging from the dark, was the creature. At first, I thought it was a trick of the shadows. But as it stepped closer, my blood ran cold. It was tall, towering over us, its skin gleaming like metal, smooth and pale under the dim light of the stars. Its eyes were black, large, unblinking, and set too deep in its face. Its limbs were long, unnaturally thin, with fingers that ended in sharp, bony tips. But it wasn't just the creature that froze me in place. It was the sound that followed, an inhuman, guttural screech that tore through the air, sending an electric shiver down my spine. Jason was right. We shouldn't have looked. I turned back, but the air felt heavier, denser, as though it was pressing down on me. The creature was moving, its steps unnervingly silent, each one bringing it closer, too close for comfort. My legs felt like lead, but I forced myself to keep running. "Jason!" I screamed. But he was ahead of me now, his figure swallowed by the dark. And then, the lights. They were everywhere now, floating above us, casting a sickly, greenish glow over everything. The ship was descending. The hum grew louder, the vibrations shaking the earth beneath us. Jason fell to his knees, gasping for breath. I reached out, grabbed his arm, yanking him up, pulling him toward the trees. But the lights, they were closing in. That was when I saw it. The ship, if you could even call it that. It wasn't something that belonged in the sky. It wasn't like any plane, any craft we had ever known. It was black, sleek, and too large to comprehend, hovering above us, casting a terrifying shadow over the forest. And in that moment, I realized Jason hadn't been afraid of the creature at all. He had been afraid of the ship. "Don't look up," he had whispered. "Because if we did, we would see the truth." and that truth would haunt us forever. Thanks for tuning into this broadcast from Zone 6. If you enjoyed this story, I'd be honored if you would subscribe, like, and tap the bell. We'll be back soon with another tale from the edge of the unknown. Your support means everything and helps keep the horror alive.